Welcome to this week's episode of Nightmares of a King. I'm Jay Anthony. I'm here with a longtime friend, Julio. I
You
mean,
doing?
we go back since elementary school,
That's right, bro.
so we go back to
Long time, bro.
the
Miss
young
Brown's
days,
class, the
right? We
long
go back to the
days,
young days,
Giffen Elementary, man.
right?
Oh my God.
So, on this
Don't
week's
even want to think about
episode
that.
of Nightmares of a King, we're gonna be talking about men's healing. And we just want to remind the viewers and everyone that's listening that this podcast was designed for men that may be going through struggles, men that may be going through depression, anything that has to deal with mental health. This platform is to show that there is people that every day, like whether you're a celebrity, whether you're this person and that person, you deal with the same struggles, and it's a lot of topics that men they really don't go through. So,
It's like basically like a lot of people, we're taught from a long age, young age, that we got to put up that front
right,
no matter what. We got to put up that, we're the strong man. Ain't nothing else, ain't nothing phase us, ain't nothing like that. But that builds up some tension over time. A lot of people just, I mean, I've seen it throughout my whole life. I've seen people just get taken down by either their rage, their sadness, their happiness, all kind of emotions pent up. You know, if you're being taught from a young age, from like 5, 6 years old, hey, just keep it in you, relax, take it easy, and all that kind of stuff, just basically it'll build up, and it can be a very negative thing after a while, because I think one of the biggest problems all men have, black men, brown men, when we're just we're always taught that we're the providers, we're the hunter gatherers, but at the same time, ain't nobody tell us to just express ourselves,
I got you.
be us,
Right.
and just
For real, and I agree with that. So, with that being said, we're gonna get into a few questions like we do over here at Nightmares of a King.
yep.
So let's talk king shit. What does mental health mean to you? We always like to start the conversation with what does mental health mean to the person that we interview?
Realistically, to me, up until a couple years ago, mental health to me was like a joke, to be honest with you, because I didn't believe in therapy. I didn't believe in talking about shit. I didn't believe in none of that. I thought that, at the end of the day, you got to do you, and everybody else who's complaining or this and that or anxieties and all that, like, yo, just shut the hell up and do your thing. But ever since I started seeing somebody talking to somebody and shit like that, it's like you realize how much a person represses things. A person can hide a lot of their problems from childhood, from growing up, from things that you think you blocked out. And because you're blocking them out, you're not fixing them. You're not actually taking care of that problem. It's like, the best way I can describe it is you're shoveling your side of the driveway, even though somebody else's is still full of snow. Like, bro, just because you can move out, don't mean that that's not affecting other people. It's the same thing with your emotions and your traumas of the past. If you're not shoveling that whole driveway, if you're not taking care of everything, and you're just like focus on this one thing, and I'll push that back to the side burner, I'll push that back to the side, but no, it's gonna keep mounting up, and one day ain't nobody getting out that driveway. So for right now, mental health is always is a key tool to getting advancing yourself and going beyond the need for, you know, intoxicants, the need for, drugs, barbiturates, or anything like that, to just make it. And I'm not talking bad about people like that who need that, who just to, get through it. That's fine. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I felt like back in the day, if I wasn't like drinking just to go to sleep or some shit, it's like, you know, like it just puts you in that state of mind. Like, you ain't nothing getting done. You need to get work on yourself before you can get anything else done.
Right. So I'm gonna give you four types of most common mental health. And out of those four, I want to tell you, I want you to tell me like what could you relate to the most. So I have depression, I have anxiety, I have substance abuse, and I have post traumatic.
Yeah. So I mean, like, depression has always been like that hot spot with me, because I know my mom's, she used to take a lot of stuff for depression, stuff like that. I don't think she just had depression. I think she might have had like bipolar and stuff like that. But who knows? I know that's the only thing I remember relating from back in the day, because I remember that's the kind of pill she used to take. But depression can just not be being sad. Depression can be a whole range of emotions that pop up at a different time. So I mean, like, and then when it comes to like, substance abuse, I think a lot of people treat their lack of understanding of their mental health with substances. You know, um, like, a good example is a lot of people I know. that ever went to jail and stuff like that have been like, oh hell no, I'm not doing 20 years sober, like
Right, right.
and they've been said that, and it's like you and you're like, what, you can't do, like, it's not about they can't make it. It's like nobody wants to think about that state of mind, that horrible state of mind that you're in for that long sober. So but dealing with, and then just regular life, sometimes you don't have to be in jail to be in jail. You can put yourself in your own jail of your own mental state of mind.
Right. We're gonna get into that because
You know?
you can relate to a lot of that, and we're gonna get into
Yeah.
that part. But like I said, for that, out of those four, so you're gonna say depression probably is the closest that you had to deal with personally?
I mean, like, I would say, yeah, because I mean, like, depression is one of those things that I knew some firsthand, and then I just realized that a lot of people's reaction to it can be just like, oh, what do you got to be sad about? It's like, it's not, ain't nothing about controlling if I'm sad or not. I could be having the best day of my life and still be depressed. So yeah, I think so.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. So now, like on an everyday basis now, like how do you handle depression? You know what I mean? Because this might be days that you may be up and days you may be down, or
I mean,
how do you handle it?
I think the best way anybody can actually handle any kind of depression, any kind of thing, is like analyzing why were you there in the first place. What is actually putting you in that mental state of mind? And I think a lot of it had to do with like me growing up. I was a lot chubbier back then and stuff like that, and the self-esteem issues that people get. And I think a lot of people don't realize that if you don't love yourself first, you ain't gonna get nowhere. So you could be chubby as hell, and if you still hate yourself, ain't nobody gonna like you back. So I think the main issues that I had to go through a lot was like trying to be the funny guy, trying to be the social guy and stuff like that. But on the inside, I always thought, oh, if I just get skinny, I'll be good. I'm like, nah, it's not. That don't mean nothing.
Right,
It
because
don't mean nothing. It's
right
just because
because
if
you
you still
wasn't
hate,
doing it for yourself.
exactly, I was
You
doing it
was
for
doing
other
it
people.
right.
And when you do stuff for other people, you don't- you'll never heal. You'll never heal. So once you actually do you and not care, you could be 500 pounds and be like, oh, you got a problem? Let's go. Like, I ain't got no issues.
Right.
I think that's the best way I've ever realized. But I also understand that when I lost a lot of weight and stuff like that, you do that for yourself because you don't want to end up dead either. Like, ain't nobody want to end up with a heart attack at 36 or something.
Right.
Or even younger.
What's the highest you've ever been, like weight
Oh,
wise?
bro, I was like 363, son. I was in triple, quadruple XLs. I'm like,
Yeah.
I just gave up on trying to find clothes that fit. I'm like, just get me a sheet or something.
Yeah, and
But
you think at that point you probably can say that you was the most depressed, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, because a lot of stuff was going on back then too. That led to that. One of my exes actually got the surgery to lose the weight,
Mhm.
and then after she got it, she kind of went on like this whole wilding issue where she was like, "Oh no, I can't do this. I can't live this kind of lifestyle." So then I got it, but then at that same time, then we broke up.
So you talking about you got the surgery?
Yeah,
You went through and got the
I
surgery?
got it. But then I guess you realize what kind of people, like, they even tell you you really should see a therapist when you get that weight loss thing, because it's like it will change your whole aspect, your whole mind. Like, your little body chemicals change because you're not carrying that weight around no more. It's almost like emotional weight gets drained too, because you no longer feel like that person no more. So now you feel like you could be somebody else. So when it came to her, she was mostly like, oh, and then now I'm more attractive to more men and shit. So she went wild,
Yeah.
So then that's how that relationship, went to hell. But then me, I kind of basically, I did, right after that relationship broke up back in like 2014, 2013, I went on my manhood period. I was like, yo, I'm blasting through everything because,
Yeah.
now I'm skinny. I can do what I want. I ain't got no problem picking up nobody. But then at the same time, like, you still ain't happy.
Right. So you was out there running numbers up
Oh
and
yeah,
still wasn't
bro.
happy.
Hell no, bro. Yeah, it was because it don't solve nothing. It don't
Right.
solve nothing. You have to be good with yourself before you can make anybody else happy.
Gotcha. Now we're gonna speak on marriage. You know what I mean? You've been married for how many times? For the people that don't know,
Yeah, 3
been
times.
married 3 times. So out of those 3 times that you've been married, do you feel like this part of what we're talking about affected those marriages? So like let's speak on the first marriage. What happened in the first marriage? Because
she cheated. That did that. And then
so when she cheated and y'all called it off and it was over with,
Mhm.
did you give yourself time to like heal over that, or you was just
oh
like,
hell
you know
no,
what?
no,
Right.
not at all. Not at
You
all.
went,
I
you went,
moved out and I went,
you
I went
jumped right in, right?
broke. Yeah, man. Jump right on anything. That's the problem.
And that is the problem. That's why I said this episode is about healing,
Yeah.
because a lot of men will, you
Well, because we're taught from a long time, the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody,
right,
and, it helps. Yeah. Like a self-esteem boost and all that shit. But at the same time, you ain't really solving nothing.
right. It's true.
It's like you have a drink to forget how bad of a day you had, but now all of a sudden you drunk behind the wheel of a car. Like, no, that's the perfect analogy for how life is. If you just keep banging through these numbers and you have no idea, no connection with nobody that's gonna give a shit about you if something happens. If you don't got that, then you got nothing.
Yeah.
You need that person on your side, or just be single.
Right.
Like if you
But I
can't, if
think
you can't survive life on your own, and you need somebody all the time, that means you got to work on you. Because at the same time, if you can't just be single sometimes and just chill, like if you always need somebody, that means that you really have like you need. What I've learned, especially about myself, is that if you don't have the chance to be with somebody, but then actually just use them because you're afraid of being alone, then you're not really with that person. You're just with them to be with them. You're not with them because you care about them. You're not with them because your life is better with them. So if you can actually survive by yourself, be single by yourself, and do life by yourself, then you can actually make somebody else happy.
right.
But if you're using somebody as a crutch, they're gonna feel it. Because
Gotcha.
when you use somebody for that long, they'll resent the weight.
Gotcha.
Everybody will. It's the same thing as somebody else does that to you. If somebody else is basically sponging, leeching, all that stuff, and you don't think about it like that. You think about it, oh, this is just how the way it is. Like, nah, bro. All relationships now should always be, I got you and you got me.
Right.
Now,
I think women, and this is my opinion. Here we go with my opinion. I should just take a segment of the show and call it my opinion, because I might say something that a lot of people may not agree. But I think like women, they don't have a problem, or they'll get themselves to a place where they can finally heal. Men were taught to be strong. So I think taking time to heal ourselves would probably make us weak. Like if you're around a bunch of guys and everybody got a girl and they inviting you out, they like, man, you ain't got nobody to come up with, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, if you don't have nobody to come and be around in that group, then you feel like you're missing out. And sometimes people jump in relationships because they feel like they're missing out on what social media might tell you.
I know all about that. Like, that whole third wheel aspect can really mess up somebody's head. I think if all your boys, all your people's got kids and you ain't got no kid, you're like, well, what's up with me? Everybody got a girl and you're the one showing up, just chilling by yourself and stuff like that. Or you're and then it also comes with a negative aspect, because believe it or not, when you that single guy, all of your friends' girls will hate you. All of them. Because they will always be like, oh, this fool coming around. All right, well, he want to do some crazy shit. He want to take my man's out to the strip club. He want to go get him drunk and stuff like that. I would just want my man at home. So there's been plenty of times where I'm like, shoot, you know what? I don't think his wifey might act like man nice to me, but I know for a fact she talking shit as soon as I leave. Like, oh, this motherfucker good. I'm glad he's gone, because now my husband will stop drinking, or now my husband will stop acting up, or shit like that. Like he ain't 25 no more. What the fuck is wrong? Like, shit like that. Because at the same time, when you go single, when you be single for a bit, you do kind of regress into your old patterns of what you haven't done in a long time. Now all of a sudden you getting dressed nice and you doing stuff like that. When you with somebody, you good. Right, bro. I'm gonna put on these sweatpants, and I'm gonna put on this friggin' this underwear. Oh, is it good? Oh, yeah, we good. All right, like, no, it's that type of shit. And I feel like the same thing will happen to women too. Like, I remember a bunch of times where people were like, oh yeah, you looking good as hell. We dressing up for tonight. I'm like, oh, we hitting the McDonald's and you just wear a tracksuit? I'm like, yeah, all right, fuck it, we good.
Right. But God dang, it's at McDonald's.
Yeah,
God
man.
Damn.
Well, I'm just saying, it's one of those things. It's like sometimes you wanted to, press when you first. But then when you find that right person, you good to just chill and just not worry about what the hell you wearing and what you doing. Because I think, especially when it comes to men, I know women got to do the same thing, but for men, since we got to apply makeup, we got to apply our freshness. We got to apply our clothes. We got to apply our,
right.
We got jewelry
we
or something like that.
And that's the costume we put on.
Yeah.
To hide behind the pain.
Yeah.
So you got cheated on. You went out, you did your thing, you ran your numbers up, you put on a costume to hide
Yep.
all of that pain that you was feeling.
Yep.
And now you on marriage number 2. And what happened there?
Honestly, for that, I think it was just mainly um there were me and her are way too much alike. But it shouldn't we shouldn't have seen it as a negative. And I think if we had just worked on trying to communicate better, that could have saved a lot of problems. Because basically a lot of reasons that we broke up was just we just kept screaming at each other
Yeah.
and fighting in front of kids and stuff like that. That was my like, yeah, no, we gotta just
Right.
take it easy.
Toxic.
But yeah, but at the same time, there really wasn't like, hatred or nothing like that. It was basically just like a bunch of just, you know, because I would at least say about the second marriage, there was no cheating, there was no stuff like that. It was just basically like we had a lot of miscommunications, a lot of all right, well, we should have talked about this more. And instead, we just let stuff fester. You ever heard that old saying, don't ever go to bed angry? We went to bed angry a lot.
Mhm.
So that will cause a lot of just, resentment that shouldn't be there
Right.
because it can be solved. It can be solved. If once you actually talk it out with somebody, you can solve so much instead of just letting it go, letting it get worse, letting
Right.
it and holding on to things that don't matter. At the end of the day, I felt like if we could actually see somebody and talk to somebody together without attacking that person, you know what I'm saying? Because that's how stubborn me and her used to be. That's we ain't nobody telling us what to do. What the fuck? No,
Right.
fuck out of
But
here.
do you feel like, because you said you never healed and you jumped into that relationship. So do you feel like if you was a healed person or you was healed as a man and you met her, things would have been different?
I think so. I think a lot. I think if a person is actually healed, and I think that's always been my biggest problem. Stuff. If you don't actually let yourself heal, you don't actually solve nothing.
Right.
But at the end of the day, me and her and in most situations have always been like that we can actually communicate.
Gotcha.
And if now and communication is the key.
Mm-hmm.
When you can't actually talk to somebody out without screaming at each other, then that ain't gonna happen. Just let it go. Because if the first thing out of the morning is, oh, I can't stand this bitch, then all right, bro, you're not in the right communication. You're not in the right relationship. Now, she can, but the thing is, people can still do shit that piss you off.
Right.
But if your first reaction to when you wake up in the morning is, oh,
Yeah.
oh my God, why her? What am I doing?
Right.
Then you're like, all right. And I think if you have that with somebody, then yeah, it ain't gonna happen. But yeah, I can say that was never like that with us. It was just we had bad mental health issues that we both didn't address. And the fact that we can address them now, just makes us better co-parents.
Right.
And that's the best thing we've ever done.
Because you did get a blessing out of it, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
got a
My son's
blessing
my
out of it.
king. That's my boy. He's only reason I do anything in life.
Right. And
Because when you have a kid, it's something that a lot of people that don't have kids will never understand. They're number one no matter what.
right.
Kids will always be I've always said that to every person, every relationship. I messed up a couple of times by trying to think that I could work out and put people on the same pedestal, but no,
Can't.
it's always
Cannot.
kid is the number one thing.
100%.
And compromising and doing this and that. No. It's
Gotcha.
no.
Now let's go in, now that you said that, let's go into the third marriage.
Yeah. Honestly, that was mostly just about what I was just talking about. Compromising certain values about about who is more important in the relationship.
And that, to me, can I say something? To me, that is crazy that you would have to pick between your new girl. Your new girl is making you pick. No, not your new girl, your new wife.
Mhm.
Your new wife is making you pick between you and your child.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's not from her, right?
Yeah.
Because if it was from her, it'd be a different story. You think?
Yeah. Not even that. Honestly, maybe if she had a kid, even before, if she had a kid and I had a kid and we had 2 kids together or something like that, I think she'd maybe at least understand certain things. Because at the end of the day, everybody can say that things can change. Everybody can say that, oh, I was misunderstood or stuff like that. But if I got to keep saying it, then obviously you're not listening.
Right.
If I tell my son something once or twice, I'm like, boy, you heard me. Come on. It's the same thing when you have somebody in a relationship. If I have to keep telling you, yo, take it easy, relax, don't, you're doing too much, or this kind of environment is like not even child friendly because it feels like, you're trying to make a museum here. You're not trying to make an actual home.
Right.
And a lot of people have been telling me that, like, yo, like your house now looks like kids live there. It's a little
Right.
messy,
So give
because
me
you
an
got the kid running
example.
around, stuff like that. So it's one of those things that I don't feel like, just because you build a beautiful palace doesn't mean it still can't be a prison.
That's right.
So I feel like that's one of the major reasons why I decided, you know what? I might live in a nice ass crib. I might live in this place that looks fantastic. I might live in a beautiful ass neighborhood. But if my son's not happy, I ain't happy. So I'm
Listen,
goody. No, I'll
that's
I'll
right.
move out and find somewhere else and make it happen. But I won't let all those nice things, detract from the fact that I still have somebody to take care of. That's my kid. And no matter what, he's my first choice
That's right.
every single time.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with that. And that's why, like I said, other day I was like, for the first episode when we had dropped, I'm like, man, I needed like a dope slogan. And the slogan for the Nightmares of a King is building strong kings so we can have strong kingdoms.
That's right.
Because you can live in a palace and if you're not right as a person,
Hell
it don't
no.
matter
No,
where
you
you
can
at,
have them. Listen. At the end of the day, you could buy a bird, a beautiful, beautiful cage. It's still a cage. It's still a cage. You can have birds in there. You can put flat screens in there. You can put bird bath, water, all that stuff. It's still, you're beautifying an environment that is not what that person is meant for.
Got you.
You know.
So three marriages, would you go for a fourth one?
Right now, nah, bro.
No.
Right now, like I said, it's not even about trying to think about marriage. Right now, it's just thinking about I gotta be what I should have been a long time ago. The only concern is my son.
Got you.
Back in the day, when my first marriage, I didn't have no kid. Second time, I did, and the third time, now I'm a father of a 6-year-old. I'm like, yo, this is the formative years. This is when a kid learns to be a man.
Right.
This is when he realizes certain things don't. That's not what we do. That's not how we act. That's not, or this is how we act. In certain places and certain things. And but I've also understood that I think I see some crazy memes on Facebook or on other stuff sometimes. I'm like, you know what? Some of that shit hit it right because I know some of them like they show like four or five fathers, right? The first father's like from old school, yelling and calling the kids stupid. Second one is a little nicer, but he's like, yo, stop your shit. What the hell is wrong with you? Not calling them stupid, but still negative, aggressive anger. And then the third one is like our generation talking to a fourth one, which is like would be like our children of right now. And the third one is like, listen, do you, bro? You want to paint? You want to do this, do that? Express yourself. The whole world is fucked as it is. Life and society is all out to get you. Home will be the one place where you can be yourself, be happy, and nobody antagonize you. Because I do get the old school's mentality of I gotta toughen this boy up so he can survive in the world. I get. I'm not even stressing how the parents back then used to be horrible. No, they just didn't realize that there's other ways because they've been taught for a long time.
Right.
Listen,
Cycle.
I'm gonna whoop this motherfucker's ass if he don't listen. Now, we got things called child abuse. We got things, so, but at the same time, just because we're not whooping kids' ass doesn't mean that we can't discipline kids.
Right.
My big things are like, I'm taking your tablet. Oh, I'm turning off Wi-Fi in the house because, all right, ain't nobody getting CPS called on you. But
Right.
at the same time, you still have to work with the tools around you. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
So teachers ain't hitting kids no more with a fucking wooden plank, but at the same time, they still have to discipline them. So I wouldn't like that's like a whole other subject, but teachers probably got it mad hard now, especially if, I don't know what schools they go to or anything. It don't matter if you're in a rich school, poor school, kids can be pricks anywhere,
Well,
bro.
and it's because, like I said, and most of the time it has to deal with, you know what I mean? Like to me, everything starts at home.
Yeah.
So like everything that you've been through in your life, you may have seen something to make you feel this way.
Yep.
Whether it was your parents, whether it was your mom, you know what I mean? Whether it was just dealing with whether it was your father or your mother,
Well, the fucked up part was one show actually almost made me tear up real bad. I was watching that show Atlanta, and it was like the second season, and it was about everybody in their childhood, right? And there was a suicide on the show, and it was fucked up. And it shows how bad kids can be to each other. It was about bullying, right? And bullying a kid because this kid, nobody knew about it. His father used to buy him fresh Jordans, all nice clothes and stuff like that, right? All the time. And the whole basis of that one show was, two kids got on the same FUBU shirt. Which one is fake? You know, back in the day, FUBU was the shit.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
but if you buy one from a certain store,
Right.
one of them is fake.
And they got to touch your shirt to
yeah,
feel the
exactly,
material.
right? You know what I'm saying?
Mind you, they don't know what the material. They don't know how to.
They
right.
no kid know that.
Right.
They used one kid that was Chinese on the show. He's like, oh, yo, bro, he just Chinese. That's how he know. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, the
Right.
kids can be downright racist, don't even know they being racist.
Right.
But anyway, but on the show, the thing that was fucked up was that the kid that had the real shirt, because his daddy bought him all that stuff, was going through parents who had just been divorced, really bad, and then he got bullied, and then we find out that he killed himself at the end. It was heartbreaking. It was
Yeah.
like it was one of those things I was like, God damn.
You ain't never felt that far, like being bullied?
Yeah. Bully. Oh yeah. There's plenty of times people probably want to put me to the edge. Never to kill myself, but I was like,
Yeah.
yo, like, I'm not gonna kill somebody. I'm not gonna punch somebody, but damn, I just want to go home and cry. Like, what the fuck is
Well,
wrong
let's
with you?
address this since we go to school. Since we've been in school since elementary, we know each. I never bullied you, right?
Hell no. Bro.
Okay, just
Nah.
making sure. Shit,
Nah,
I can't
bro.
remember back then.
Nah, bro. Giffen, even though it's a hellhole now, you know, Giffen was a great school to go to.
Yeah. Well, like I said,
mean,
a lot of.
I don't know what idiot decided to put a homeless shelter right across from it, but that's, you know.
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother. You know what I mean?
Good
That's a whole nother topic. But as for dealing with, like, you have your son now, and that is your main focus. If you take just for a second, if you take your son out of the equation, do you feel like you've been healed as a man?
Oh, hell no, because anybody that thinks that they're perfectly healed is in denial. Ain't nobody perfectly healed, because ain't nobody perfect.
Right.
But that's the best part about being you, is that you can finally feel that I might not be perfect, but I'm good for today.
Got you.
And it's always a step-by-step process of, I'm good for today. Let's make it happen. Let's go out there. Let's keep.
So that's how you get every day. That's how you go by every day.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, today is a new day.
That's right.
Let's make it happen.
That's right. You got to, because at the end of the day, why think about yesterday when tomorrow's still not here yet?
Right.
So
that's true. So, like, what, being at everything that you've seen, what would you encourage, not just your son, but anybody, any kings coming up, like encouragement for people that may be going through and just don't know how to heal? Somebody might be watching this episode and they might be going through it and they're like, damn, like, I'm in a tight situation. I mean, even in relationship wise, like, you've been married 3 times.
Yeah.
You know, which is even crazier, you know, which is, to me, is crazy.
I think that at the end of the day, you have to be you and not worry about everybody else. You have to be fine being that third wheel. You have to be okay that you're not in a relationship. And you got to be okay with, now you have responsibilities, do those responsibilities. Don't worry about if somebody else could do them for you. Don't worry about if somebody else can carry you, because the minute you start depending on somebody else, emotionally, physically, all that, they will resent the weight, and then so will you, because their resentment is going to show. It's going to show every day. And fights progress and stuff like that. Stupid little stuff will be fucking exploding, because I've seen fights start over anything as stupid as eating at a dinner table. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? That's a huge ass fight. Like, it's stupid. It's stupid shit. But the thing is, when somebody resents somebody else, it's going to happen. It's little things will lead to huge battles that you shouldn't even be having. So I think every man out there can, every king out there will be straight out when they listen to this and be like, yo, for real, like, we was just talking about the laundry, and all of a sudden I'm like, I'm living at a hotel for right now. I'm like, what the, like, it can happen. It can happen, because guess what? It's not about the laundry. It's not about the dinner table.
Right.
It is literally about, there is resentment. It's been building up. And because y'all haven't faced up to it, because somebody isn't working on himself, that stupid shit will end the relationship real quick over something major.
Gotcha.
Guaranteed. Because people can get over major shit.
Right.
But it's a stupid little shit that builds up. A freaking explosion of emotions that finally get released in the fight. Because you understand, when people fight, it's almost like a chemical release, like a dopamine rush to your brain. I can finally say all the shit I want to say to you, motherfucker. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's the thing that will finally, I think, get people like, and then I think that's why certain people enjoy fighting. Because I do think there are certain people out there that enjoy fighting somebody all the time. They have their battles because they finally can express what they really been feeling this whole fucking time. And if you're not feeling, and if that's how you express yourself, and that's the only way you can feel fulfilled, then you're not in the right relationship. You're not.
Right.
So either let it go, keep it going, but work on it, or call it a day. Literally call it a day. Like be done with who you with. Because if it's not happening, then it's not happening. It's just not. You can't keep pushing. There's something down the road and expect that you're gonna go somewhere.
Right. A lot of people though, I feel like, especially what you're saying, but I think out of the 3 marriages that you had, do you take accountability for something?
Oh hell yeah. Oh
Yeah.
goddamn. I fucked up a lot. Oh god, yeah.
You want to give us an example?
I mean, like, it's just realistically, in all 3 marriage, I think I was obsessed with, um, the wrong kind of things, the wrong kind of issues, and just because certain people don't act or behave the same way as you don't have to push them on. So I think the best way I can describe it is be you. Don't try to transform other people to be you. You know, if you like certain things, if you like certain ways, I think the funniest thing you can do with somebody is in a couple in a relationship is you can, if you want y'all go out somewhere, go do something, and if y'all dress alike, I always thought that was cool as hell. Me and my ex did that a bunch, and a lot of people thought we was staggy as hell, and I was like, no, we cool, we doing it good. I never thought I was trying to like transform nobody, but at the same time, sometimes when you push your beliefs and your uh your emotions on people like that because you don't feel fulfilled and you feel like somebody else has to at least feel this way or do this with me, and guess what? It builds up like a listen, I'm my own person before I met you. What the fuck I need?
Right.
I might like some of the same stuff, but I don't have to love it. And that's the same thing. It's like, and I'm like I said, I think like luckily, I've been stopped drinking for a while now, but I think there was a couple of times where I might have taken it a little bit too crazy with the drinking and shit like that. So I think that might have been like a common denominator, because I realized a while back that just
You was using the drinking to
to,
hide the
to hide
pain.
the emotions, yeah.
Right.
So, but it's just I think it goes more than that. I think it's just I'm not even going to use that as an excuse no more because, like I said, oh yeah, there's lots of stuff to cover up the pain and stuff like
Right.
that. But at the end of the day, just you don't need something to make you happy.
Gotcha.
Now, if you want to chill and smoke and drink, yeah, good, that's cool, man. There's nothing wrong with being sociable. But if you can't deal with it, and if it's not good with you, you know, then just let it go.
You feel like you owe anybody an apology?
Oh yeah, like I said, it's at the end of the day, I just feel like apologizing is a state of mind. And when you actually force somebody to acknowledge what you've been through and what you are, I personally just think that, at the end of the day, I'm good with it. At the end of the day, you did what you did, I did what I did. We're done. Now we're happier where we are, who we are, and we've made it past everything that happened. And I think that the minute you can actually survive horrible shit with somebody, then it's either a take or go situation. But yeah, there's definitely lots of times where I personally fucked up, and I'll apologize for all that shit. Oh yeah, absolutely. Because if you can't believe, like I said, like I told you before, bro, if you think you're perfect, then there's something wrong with you. Because ain't no motherfucker out there perfect
Right.
at all, at all. So either believe that you can be better, or just be a scumbag.
Gotcha. Now, do you have a question? Because we, like I said, we usually do a towards the end. We usually take a question from the queens. This week we don't have a question. We want to promote the queens out there. If you do have questions for the kings when they're up here and the mental health and the issues that they go through in relationships, feel free to ask. Feel free to send the messages. We listen in to everyone, and feedback is always good. So like, comment, subscribe. All of that stuff that they do. You know what I mean, on
Yeah.
YouTube or whatever. But for you, do you have a question? Because, like I said, all the things that you've been through, do you have a question for the females? What would you
Uh,
question your next wife if you was to go that far?
I wouldn't even go that far, but
Never
but what
say
I
never.
but what I will say,
Listen.
but what I will say is this. What I will say is this. Um, Not even like a question, but more like just an opinion. Is if you ever feel that you are resenting somebody, let them know. Don't just hide it. Don't just be that. But I guess so. I do have a question. My question would be like, have you ever resented somebody, but never let them know except in the fight? Have you ever just sat down with somebody and be like, yo, for real, these bills are not getting paid, motherfucker. Let's go. Let's do something. Get a second job. I'll get a second job, but we got to get this shit going and
Right.
stuff like that. Or a simple situation like, bro, what's up with the hand towel? You know, it's like, but don't
Leaving the seat down.
Oh, you know,
I mean, leaving the seat up. Leaving the seat up.
Listen, bro, that's a
I get balked at.
that's a 10 podcast
Listen,
conversation.
can I say something real fast? Leaving the seat up. Women are, and they're like, why would you leave the seat up? Well, why would we leave the seat down?
Listen, they had a whole South Park episode about that, bro.
Right.
I love that.
I don't understand.
Because my whole thing situation when it comes to that is I will tell women straight out, if you don't want this toilet to look like a fucking water park, listen, I'm leaving the seat up. If you want it nasty and dirty, I'll leave it down every damn day. But make up your mind.
But most of the time, when you running into the bathroom, and it's gonna get off topic for a minute. But most of the time, when you running into the bathroom as a man, you pulling out to go to the bathroom. Yeah. Females pulling their pants down just to sit down.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother topic. Don't get mad, Quake, because this is just a conversation.
No, these
but
women
I've got balked at a few times for leaving
bro,
the seat up.
These women
and it goes back to your parents, your aunts, your parents, your mother. Who the hell left the seat down? I mean, who the hell left the seat up?
You know, we're getting stabbed when we get out the studio. That's going to happen. Yeah. These women are going to come out from the woodwork. Somebody's listening right now.
No, because
even though it's not live, that somebody's listening right now and be like, this mother, I told him to leave.
But this is why, like I said, this platform is built to build, man, not destroy them.
Yeah.
So we ain't gonna never bring nobody on here to destroy them. We're gonna bring them on here. We're gonna build them up. And like I said, what you say out your mouth, someone may be watching, and it might help them build. So the question that you have for the queens is: Have you ever had resentment towards a man and just didn't speak on it?
Yeah.
So
I mean, like, honestly, I just hope that they understand that men are mental, emotional animals too. Right. We're all animals. Like I said, we all got our perks, our ticks, our problems and stuff like that. We are not perfect. So when you put that weight on us, go for it.
Right.
You know? Yeah. At that one time that you asked, it might piss somebody off, but guess what? You're having a conversation. Because the minute you keep letting it go, the minute you're like, oh, this motherfucker, but all right, I'm gonna keep quiet on it because I don't want to start no fight. Guess what? That fight's gonna happen anyway.
Right, eventually.
It's gonna happen anyway.
Eventually.
Instead of like sprinkling the salt little by little by little until all of a sudden you freaking got hypertension. No, just edge it out. Say it right there. Express yourself. You know.
Yeah, so we're coming to a close. Like I said, this episode was really designed on healing. And as you can see, this brother done been through 3 marriages and he's still working every day to heal, to become better. So if you're in a relationship or whether you're dealing with people, whether it's friends, whether it's anybody, like if you have people around you in your circle and you're not quite healed, then whoever's around you is like, they're just around you, period. Like it doesn't even matter who you run with or who you have around you, because you're dealing with a one-on-one war right now between you and yourself. So until you're completely healed and you're not jumping from relationship or business relationships or anything, just hopping around, then you're going to continue to deal with the hurt until you deal with it with yourself. So appreciate you coming on the show, man. Yeah, man. Like I said, we go back since elementary school. Damn, we go back a while, and it's crazy because you go through life sometimes and you'll see somebody that you've known since elementary school. But when you're a boy, because we met as boys and now we're men. So it's like, I really didn't know the struggles and the shit that he had to go through his path in life. And he don't know my struggles, you know? So for us to be able to sit down and kind of like have the conversation and talk, because honestly, before today, I didn't even know. I kind of knew, like, before this episode, you know, I kind of knew someone was like, yo, yeah, you should ask him this question, you know, because I really didn't know. Like, he was like, damn, you've been married 3 times. Like, I know you're in a relation, you're in a marriage right now that's coming to an end.
Yep. You
know, so I knew that. I only knew of that marriage, and I knew of the previous girlfriend with the kid, but I didn't know you were married 3 times, which is crazy. It can happen to anybody.
Yeah, bro.
If you don't heal yourself, it's gonna happen. So
It's an
Appreciate you.
endless cycle, bro. Like,
Absolutely.
unless you break it, you're gonna keep on it.
And that's what we're here for. We're here to build kings, not destroy them.
Damn right.
Absolutely. Another episode of Nightmares of a King. Appreciate everybody that's listening, that's watching. Continue to like, subscribe, and share, and do whatever, you know.
Yeah.
All right. Peace. Here we go.